Sometimes in the music business, you hear stories about artists that just stop you in your tracks. Stories about things that happen behind the scenes, away from the stage lights and the screaming crowds. This is one of those stories. It's about a moment that could have been a tragedy, a major music festival, and an act of loyalty that goes way beyond just business. The whole thing revolves around country rapper Colt Ford and what happened to him in April of 2024. Now, Colt was all set for a massive summer tour. He was one of the key artists on the bill for the first ever Rock the Country Festival, a huge traveling show headlined then by Jason Aldean and Kid Rock. 14 dates across the country, big crowds, a huge deal for any artist. But just 2 days before the very first show was supposed to kick off, everything changed. In early April of 2024, after a show in Arizona, Colt Ford suffered a massive heart attack. And when I say massive, I mean it's as serious as it gets. This wasn't just a health scare. It was a fight for his life. According to Ford himself, things were so bad that when emergency crews found him on his tour bus, he was clinically dead. They had to bring him back to life. He was rushed to one hospital, but they didn't have what he needed to survive. So they had to transport him to another, more advanced facility. And during that transport, it happened again. He died a second time. And a second time, first responders brought him back. It's a miracle he's even here to tell the story. A wild part of his story is that his best friend, fellow artist Brantley Gilbert, just happened to be playing a show in the same area that night. As soon as Gilbert heard what was happening, he rushed to be with Colt and was a major force in making sure he got the critical care he needed. Ford spent weeks in the ICU, and his recovery has been a long, hard road. He's had to basically learn to walk again and has since lost about 60 pounds, completely changing his lifestyle. But as he was fighting for his life, there was the professional side of things to consider. He was booked for this huge 14-date festival tour that he obviously could not play. In the world of touring, when an artist cancels, especially at the last minute, that's it. You don't play, you don't get paid. It's a huge financial hit, on top of a personal crisis. And this is where the story takes an incredible turn. This is where Kid Rock comes in. With Colt Ford out of commission, the festival organizers had a hole in their lineup. They could have easily just hired another artist to fill the spot. Nobody would have blamed them. The show must go on. But that's not what happened. Colt Ford recently went on the Outside the Round with Matt Burrell podcast and finally shared the full story of what went down. He explained that Kid Rock and the festival decided they weren't going to replace him. Instead, at each of the 14 festival stops, Kid Rock himself would get on stage and do a special DJ set of Colt Ford's music as a tribute. He made sure that the fans who came to see Colt Ford still got to hear his songs. It was a way of keeping his presence on the tour and showing respect. And that alone is a pretty cool move, a sign of true camaraderie. But it didn't end there. Honoring his music was one thing, but Kid Rock, whose real name is Bob Ritchie, knew that Colt was not just recovering from a health standpoint, but was also facing a massive financial loss from not being able to work for months. And this is the part that Colt Ford wanted people to know about. This is the unthinkable part. On that podcast, Colt revealed what Kid Rock did next. In his own words, Colt said, "Bob paid me anyway." Let that sink in. Kid Rock paid Colt Ford for all 14 shows he was forced to miss. All of them. He didn't have to do that. No contract in the world would require that. It was a move made out of friendship and respect from one artist to another. Colt shared the quote directly. He was like, "I got you," because he knew that was a big deal for me. And it was. That's the side of a business and a side of an artist like Kid Rock that you rarely get to see. In an industry that can be ruthless, this was a moment of pure stand-up loyalty. It was about taking care of a friend who was in the worst situation of his life. Colt Ford was fighting to survive, and the last thing he needed to be worrying about was how he was going to make ends meet. Kid Rock took that burden completely off his shoulders. It's a testament to the character of all people involved. Colt Ford is now back on his feet, thank God, making new music and has even returned to the stage, which is incredible given what he went through. But the story of what happened while he was down and how one of the biggest names in music stepped up for him is something that deserves to be heard. What do you guys think about this? It's a powerful story of friendship in the music industry, and I think it really shows the character of Kid Rock in this situation. Let me know what you think down in the comments.